The one thing that I think everybody should understand about climate is that language is never neutral, and the language that we use to talk about climate change impacts how we understand climate change and also how we respond. Climate change is not strictly a scientific problem, right? It is a problem that is embedded in the ways that we live, in the ways that we understand our relationship to the world and also to each other. And I think that humanities have a huge role to play in understanding both how we got here and in helping us to imagine conceptions of society or relationships to the world that may challenge some of the extractivist, overconsumption bases of the way that we live our lives. Learning how to make meaning across languages is a really important endeavor and something that I think is key to understanding the global manifestations of climate change and the ways in which we may work together across languages and cultures to find common ground and to establish common priorities. One of the things that we talked about in the Let's Talk About Climate Change course was climate metaphor. The interesting thing about climate metaphor is how it helps us to understand how language impacts our understanding of climate change and our responses to it. Carbon footprint is a really interesting metaphor because it uses something that's really big and abstract and hard to understand, which is, for example, the production of greenhouse gases by human activity. And so it attempts to make individual impacts salient by using the metaphor of a footprint, which is a visible and sometimes a lasting impression of our impact as we move through the world. One of the things that language and that the humanities can do is to help us imagine other possible futures that are fundamentally different than the current times that we're living in. And so one thing that I would hope for the future as it relates to climate change is that, yes, we continue pursuing the science and the technological advances, but we also realize that there is an enormous amount of power in the way we talk about ourselves, our place in the world, our interactions with the natural environment, and how we can use that language to craft stories that then may help inform possible futures that are better than the one that we're currently living in.